Hi, my name is Cassandra Doughton, physical therapist since 1993, trained at the Academy of Lymphatic Studies in complete decongestive physiotherapy or comprehensive lymphedema treatment in 1998. My job today is to teach you how to do self-manual lymph drainage if your armpit or axillary lymph nodes are affected on one side. Okay, the first thing you will do is do stationary circles, and usually if you're going to do it on yourself, you're going to cross your arms. Let's do one side at a time. So if this is my collarbone right here, I'm going to put my hand, the opposite hand, deep to my collarbone and rest this part of the hand or the fingers on there. And the movement is called a semicircle, and you go backwards toward the neck, and then you relax your pressure and the skin takes you back to the starting place. So you're going to go back toward the neck and release. Back toward the neck and release. Should be about a second with the push and a second with the release. So the full circle will take you 2 full seconds. Normally, when you're stimulating the lymph nodes, you want to do about 8 to 10. All right, let's say I did 10 on that side. I'm going to go to the other side. Again, here's my collarbone here. I'm going to put my hand deep to my collarbone. I'm going to let my fingers kind of contour to the shape of it. I'm going to go backwards toward the neck and release. Back toward the neck and release. The movement is more, the power of the movement is more in the rest of your arm, not in your fingers. So you're not digging with your fingers. You're kind of just stretching the skin in a half circle and then release. Half circle and release. And make sure you're doing it nice and slow, about 2 seconds per circle. If you really were talented, you could do both at the same time. Usually I get my thumbs out of the way. Now we'll do the cervical or neck lymph nodes. So we're going to put our hands on either side of our neck, and we're going to do our semicircles backwards, down, and release. Backwards, down, and release. And most of my pressure is kind of on this part of the hand. I'm only holding on enough to only putting enough pressure enough to hold on to the skin. So half circles and release. And again, it's about a second with the half circle and a second with the release, where the skin takes you back to your starting place. You could do, if you want to do one at a time, you could do it like this, or you could do it like this. You could also do one at a time on this side, like this, like this, and you do about 10 circles. All right, the next part would be your armpit or axillary lymph nodes. So you're going to put your hand over your head or hand up, so you can put your other hand into the armpit, and you're going to do your half circle. So your hand's in the armpit, pressure and release. I'm not sliding over the skin. I'm not digging with my fingers. I have kind of a hand that's kind of stiff a little bit, contoured to the shape of the armpit. I'm doing half circle and release, kind of up and in toward the core, to the center of the body. Okay, 10 on that side, and then 10 on this side. If you have a hard time lifting your arm up, you can rest it on something. Just enough to get your hand in there to do your half circles. Okay, the last lymph node, if this is the side that is affected, would be doing your groin lymph nodes. You would lean back, put your hands kind of right at the bikini line. Usually I like to put the hand, my opposite hand over top of it, and I'm doing my circles. So I'm going up and in and relax. Up and in and then relax. And that relax or release stage, the skin will take it back to where you started. You don't need to do the other groin or inguinal lymph nodes. You just need to do the side that is affected. So once the target lymph nodes are prepared, we're going to open up the healthy side so it can get rid of the fluid that's in there and accept more fluid. All right, so what we'll start with doing is putting your hands right over your chest and gently stretching the skin away from the lymph node that's affected and toward your target lymph node. Okay, then we'll add a little bit more, stretching the skin and release. Stretch the skin and release. Stretch the skin and release. Again, it should be about a second stretch and a second release. Each time I'm starting a little closer to my affected side. Stretch the skin and release. Stretch the skin and release. It's a pretty gentle movement. You're only putting enough pressure on the skin to hold on to it so you don't slide over the skin. And it's not my hand doing the force of it, it's more my kind of elbow and shoulder pushing my hand that direction. And you can do a couple runs. Once you get to that armpit and you're pushing it toward the other one, go ahead and do it like maybe 5 times. Just like that. So you start off on just the opposite quadrant, starting off in the sternum or the kind of the mid chest area, and stretch it toward the target lymph node, and then you keep gradually increasing your territory until you're taking it from one lymph node area to the other side. If it's hard for you to kind of get in there, you can even use your other hand and pull and release. So you're doing the same action of stretching the skin away from the affected side toward the healthy side, but you can use either this hand to push or the other hand to pull. It is easier to kind of pull this way, but then when I get toward midline, it's a little harder, so I need to use my other hand. Okay, now I'm going to tilt the camera so you can see me going down toward the groin. Alright, so I would lean over, lean back, and I'm going to go down the side of the body, kind of the front side toward the groin. I'm going to keep adding more fluid. I'm going to start at the ribs and then stretch as much as the skin will let me stretch, and release so the skin will take me back, and keep adding more and more. You can use your other hand on top to kind of push the direction. Some of the mistakes that people make when they're doing this is they want to pull in like this, and that's not aiming toward the target. The target is the groin right here, so that you want to be going down. You're holding on to the skin and stretching that tissue downward toward the groin. And once you've done from the armpit to the groin about 5 times, then we can start going into the arm itself. So now I've done my lymph nodes, my target lymph nodes, and I've done my core or my trunk, and now I'm going to go up the arm. So I'm going to start kind of at the top of the shoulder and stretch it toward the collarbone here. And then I'm going to do it again. Stretch and release. Again, 2 seconds for the whole movement. Stretch and release. I'm going to add a little more, pulling up up, and I'm not squeezing the arm, I'm just kind of cupping it and going upward. Stretch and release. I can go toward the collarbone, or I can take it all the way across toward the other armpit. Now, if you have a lot of scarring or radiation burns in the chest area, your route might be best to go down toward the groin. And you've already prepared that, so you can kind of push it down toward the groin. If the other side had lymph nodes removed or radiated, you wouldn't go across there. You would totally delete that step of going across, and you would just take it from the arm and down the groin. So each time I'm going to get a little bit more of my arm, kind of doing the outer side of the arm. Each time I'm not just going to leave it at the shoulder, but I'm going to drop it off at the target lymph nodes at my groin or at my other armpit. Then I can bring it from the inside and stretch it toward the outside. So I'm pulling the skin, kind of rotating the skin around from the underneath of my arm toward the outside, and once it's on the outside, stretching it up. It's a lot of repetition, just taking your time with it. Doesn't really matter if you do it laying down or sitting, whatever's comfortable. And I'm just kind of lifting my arm to show you. So I've kind of already done from the elbow up, depending on where your swelling or pain or tightness is. You would kind of pinpoint or focus on that spot a little bit more. If I have a lot of swelling at my elbow, after I have drained out the core area, I would really try to focus on pushing that fluid up out of the elbow and then either across to the other armpit or down to the groin or up to the collarbone lymph nodes. You can do the arm. I kind of cup my hand like this around, and again I'm stretching it up. Then you can do the hand, but when you're starting, you're not going to go straight to the problem area like if it's the hand. You definitely want to stimulate the lymph nodes at the collarbone and the neck, because that's where the lymphatic system is going to end up draining into the vascular system. And you want to do your target lymph nodes and clear out the core or the trunk area first. And then gradually get to the point where you can do your hand. It's a lot of repetition. If you can spend 10 minutes either daily or 3 times a week, and see if you see a difference, if it improves your pain, improves your tightness or swelling or fullness in that area. I hope this helps, and please feel free to email me at cdowtin, D-O-W-T-I-N, @wakehealth.edu if you have any questions or comments. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.